Okay, so let's look at managing our messages and working with folders and so forth. And I'd like to start out first of all with deleting. So deleting our messages. Pretty simple concept. Once in a while it can get kind of confusing, so I want to kind of cover everything so you can see what's going on with that. So first of all, let's say you find a message. Let's say this one right here, you've read it. Well, this one I haven't read, but I know I want to get rid of it. So I want to delete it. So what do? Well, you click onto it, hit the delete key, it's gone, all right? Or I can take my mouse, point to the message, and then just kind of drag it into the deleted items, either one. So either way, when you delete the message, it goes in that deleted items folder. If you've got a number of messages that you want to delete, then what you can do is you can click onto one, let's say, hold down your control key, click onto another, click on another, click on another, just like that. And then let go of your control key and either hit the delete key or, again, drag it into the deleted items folder, and they're gone just like that. So that's a pretty easy concept. Now, what happens if you deleted something and then later on you decide, oh, I didn't really mean to delete it? What are you going to do? Well, you just go back into your deleted items folder, all right, like this. You find the message that you want to bring back, and you just kind of point to it, and you just drag it back to your inbox. And then when you go back to the inbox, then there will be the message. All right. Okay, so once you've brought it back and everything, that's great. But then you go into the delete items folder area, and you say to yourself, well, if all I have to do is drag it back out, that's not really being, like permanently deleted. How do I make it so where it can't be found anymore? In this case, be found in the deleted items folder. Well, what you can do is when you go into the deleted items folder, find the messages that you definitely don't want. You want to get rid of them permanently. So let's just say we've got this one. I'll hold on my control key. I'll click this one, and this one. So those I definitely know for sure that I never want to see. The rest of them I'm not sure about. I want to maybe keep them around, keep them in the garbage can. I'm not sure if I want them to go permanently, but these I definitely want to go. So once I've done that, then on my keyboard I can just hit the delete key, all right? It says, do you want to permanently delete these? And I say yes, and now they're gone, all right? Now if I go back to the inbox, and I want to do the same thing on one of these messages. Let's say on this one here, I want to permanently delete it. So I don't want to have to go and delete it first and have to go to the delete items folder and delete it from there permanently. What I can do instead is I can click onto the message, hold down the shift key, hit the delete, and it will say this will be permanently deleted. And I say yes, I want to continue, and now that one has bypassed the deleted items folder. It actually got deleted permanently. Now, the only problem with that concept is that it's not really permanently deleted. So technically what's happened so far is we had our garbage can, we threw different items into our garbage can sitting next to our desk. And then we went and put the garbage out on the corner, and it was taken off by the garbage man, and that was what we would consider to be permanently thrown out or permanently deleted, all right? But that's not the case, because now there's a way to go to the garbage dump and retrieve your messages from there, your deleted items. So how do we do that? Well, if we go over to the folder tab up here, there's a choice there called Recover Deleted Items. So we click on the Recover Deleted Items. Now when you initially come in here, it'll be in the wrong order here. So if you just click on the Deleted On, it will switch it around and put the most recent at the top there. Okay, so here is one of those messages. That was deleted on 3/19. So I want to bring it back from the dead, all right? So I can go down here and I can click on to where it says Restore Selected Items, hit OK, just like that, and then you'll see it pop right back in there. So not bad. If I go back in there again, Recover Deleted Items, here's one on three. Oh, it's the wrong way again. Let me flip it around here. Oop. Okay, so we got this one here, 319. Once again, PetSmart, restore, selected item, hit OK, and you'll see it down here. So pretty interesting concept there, because it's like, my God, okay, so I guess I've got like a second chance there, right? If you want to, you can go back in there and you can find a certain email message and you say, you know what, I don't want this one. Hold down your control key. I don't want this one. I don't want this one. And this one. I want to get this like purged. I mean, completely deleted. So I've got them all selected, purge selected items, hit OK, and then hit OK, and now they're gone. And that's it. You have to understand that for legal reasons, especially if you're at a company, they legally have to store all email, and I have no idea what it's for. I think it's for like 10 years or something like that. So really, you're not going to be able to get rid of it. I mean, but if you feel comfortable about just getting it off of your system, then you've got the tools to do that with. So at least you know how to get rid of mail, how to recover it, how to, you know, somewhat permanently delete the mail, but still, it's a good set of tools to know how to do. Okay, so let me tell you something else about all this. When it comes to your mail being in the inbox, the more mail you store in your inbox, the slower your system becomes. Now, you have to understand that the machine and the program are very fast, so it's going to take an awful lot to really kind of slow it down. But your email will, the whole system itself will kind of slow down when you have a lot of mail in your inbox. So what we try to do is put the mail into folders. You know, once you've received it, you've read it, you want to save it, get it out of the inbox, put it into another folder. Now, before we talk about folders in general, I want to talk about one folder that you get automatically with the system, and that is something called the archive. Okay, now the archive is just a single folder that you can throw, you know, any of your email into, that you don't feel like having maybe to put into a specific folder other than, you know, the inbox. And it works like this. When you go over to the Home tab, there is a button up here called Archive. All right. Now, what we can do, oh, and by the way, too, notice when I point to it, it says you can put your email into the archive very quickly by just hitting the backspace key. So in this case, we'll do that in a little bit here, but just give you an idea of what's going on here. So let's say that you just got done reading this email, all right, and now you just want to kind of get it out of the way, get off your inbox. You're not quite sure what folder you want to put it into, so you're just going to start with the archive. So what you can do is just take that message, drag it over to the archive, and there you go. All right. Now, the other way we could do it is we could actually click onto the message, and then on keyboard, hit the backspace key, and that'll put it into the archive. I mean, that's a pretty good little system there. You know, backspace, whatever, and it does that. So now while you're doing that, they're getting stored in the archive. So I click on the archive, and there they are. So that's pretty cool. The only problem with the archive is that it's a single folder. You really can't create folders within it, you know, for the most part. I probably shouldn't say that. I mean, you can create folders that are kind of like underneath it, looking like they're part of archive, but nothing within it. So archive just pretty much just looks just like that, all right? So if I went back to inbox here and I said, okay, I'm going to click on to, let's say, this one here, control key, this one here, this one here, this one, and this one here, and then I can just on my keyboard hit the backspace, then they all go into the archive. So that's a good little deal. Again, what's happening is we're at least getting them out of the inbox. You know, we should keep the inbox just for new mail that's come in, and then once we've read it, then it needs to go somewhere. So the archive would be like your first level, I guess, right? All right, so now the other area that we could store at would be our own folders that we create. And I always like to put any new folders underneath the inbox. It kind of just keeps it kind of like in the same area. I don't like them all scattered about here. So what we would do, let's say for instance, we want to create just a couple maybe general folders. Maybe one called, let's say maybe Project 1. Another one may be called Business. Okay? So the way we would do this is we would go over to Inbox. We would do a right click on it, tell it New Folder. All right? We would type the new name in, so we'll just call it Business. Hit the Enter key. That's it. Do another right click on Inbox. Go to New Folder. And on this one, we'll call this one, let's say, Project 1. And enter that in. And there we go. Now, they'll normally go in alphabetic order, but you can also rearrange that. So you can actually take, let's say, Project 1 here, point to it, drag it up like this, and just kind of put it right above Business. You'll see that little black line. You let go, and you flip them around. It used to be we weren't able to do that, and you would have to go and put a little prefix letter in the beginning to make it go alphabetical, you know, the way that you wanted it. But you don't have to do that anymore. So that's pretty easy. And then, again, just like when we were deleting, if we wanted to move certain messages into those areas, all we have to do is just point to it, drag it over here to Project 1, or take one over here, drag that over to Business, and then later on we can kind of click on there and you can actually see the messages. Now, I haven't mentioned this before, but anytime that you see a blue number next to these folders, that's letting you know not really how many messages there are in there, but rather how many messages that are in that folder that have been that are not read yet, that are unread. All right, so as you can see, I'm a pretty bad person. In my inbox, I've got over 4,400 messages that have not been read yet because, you know, mainly most of them are junk, and I just haven't had the time to go in there and clean it up. But that's pretty bad. Anyway, and of course in Business, we got one in there. Well, if you click onto it, you can see that it's the go to meeting message, and it hasn't been read yet. Now, the minute I go ahead and open it up, okay, there we go. I'll close it up. Now you'll see that there's no blue number there, but still, when I click onto it, the message is there. Now, if we've got these two folders now, and you decide that you want to create a third folder, all right? So I'm going to go back to Inbox here again, do a right click, hit New Folder, call this one Personal, for whatever reason, right? Enter that one in. And then I decide that I want to take Project 1, which is really having to do with business, and I want to put it underneath Business. So what I'll do is I'll take Project 1, drag it on top of Business just like that, let go, answer yes, and now it looks like that. So we hit that little latch on the side, and there it is in there. So organizing with folders, you know, your email is a very personal thing. Everybody organizes their own way. I would tell you that you probably would want to have no more than about 10 main folders like we see here, like personal and business. You don't want to get too many because after a while you get so much in there it's hard to find things to begin with. But try to get some main folders like this and then create folders with them, within them, and maybe folders within them. All right, don't get too out of hand with it because once again you get too much going on, it gets so confusing you don't even know what you've got anymore. Now, if I want to do a little house cleaning with my email, I might think about maybe looking for email from specific people, and by who they are, I'll know whether or not it's personal mail or business mail, let's say, right? So what we can do is click onto the From up here, all right? And that then will kind of group it into what you see there. Now, let's just say that this Prime Video, that is a business type email. In other words, it's business related, let's say. Well, you can either then click onto one message, drag it over into business, or we can take, you know, the whole bunch by clicking on the first one, holding down the Shift key, hitting the bottom one there, right? Or clicking onto that, let go of the Shift key and drag it over, all right? Another way to do it, though, if you want to do the whole group, is just to kind of point to the group right here, hold down the mouse, drag it over to business, let go, and that whole group goes over. And then you go further down, you say, okay, here's another one. This one has to do with project one, let's just say, right? So I could take that whole thing there, 70 of them, right? And drag that over to project one. And off it goes. All right, now go back to my inbox, and there we go. Now another way we can move them is you can actually click on to the group, let's say like that, the group heading, go up into your home tab, go over here to where it says move, click onto that, and you can actually see all of your folders that you have there. So you might say, oh, you know what, actually I think what I want to do with that is I want to put that one in the archive, right? Click onto there, hit OK, all right, and off it goes. I can also find either a group or an individual message. I can do a right click on it, all right? Go over here to move, and I've got that same thing going on here. So I say, okay, I'll put that into, let's say, personal, all right? And I can put a check mark in here where it won't keep on coming up with this message, but I'll leave it alone for now. Hit OK, and boom, there they go. Take this one here, right click it, move, put that into project one. All right, and there we go. All right, so that's pretty easy to do. And then once you're done house cleaning for now, you can just go back and click on to received, and now your messages will be back to the way they were. Now you're probably going to hit a point at some point, I guess, at some time, where you might have a lot of folders in here, you know, folders within folders and whatever, and some of them are very important to you, that you're always looking into them and stuff like that. So you can actually put some of these folders up here in your favorites. They'll still be down here, but you can put them in the favorites there, where it's just an easy place to go to do a few. Now, of course, you don't want to put everything up there, right? But you just want to put the ones that you have. So usually it'll be populated already, maybe with your inbox and your drafts and your sent items and so forth. But for instance now, I'm going to show you first of all how to get rid of them out of here, and then they'll just be down here. And the way you do that is you just do a right click on it, all right, and you tell it that you want to remove it from favorites, and it's still here, but now it's been removed from there. So I just do a right click, go down here, hit remove from favorites, off it goes. Now, to put ones in there, all we have to do is you just kind of point to whichever one it is, hold down your mouse button on it, drag it up like this, and you'll see that little black line, let go, and there it goes. And then later on, if you want to get rid of it, you can do a right click on it, and you got to watch it on these, because the ones that you created, all right, not the ones that came with the program, but the ones that you've created, you can accidentally not go down as far as remove from favorites, but instead say delete folder. You do that, that's it. It's gone. Now, of course, if you do that, where does it go? It'll go into your delete items folder here, and there you can actually pull it out from there and put it back to where it was. So to give you an idea, if you did that accidentally, you would just do a right click on it, you'd hit delete folder, and I say yes, I want to delete it, it's gone. Now where did it go? I go to my deleted items area down here, hit my little latch there, and you can see personal there. So what do? Point to there, drag it back up to here, maybe put it right on top of inbox, and then hit yes, and now it'll be at that level. Now I'll go ahead and I'll put my inbox back up there like that, and I'll also put my sent items. Oh, I already have that up there, so sent items is there. Put my outbox up there too. All right, there we go. Okay, so far we've been looking at keeping ourselves organized for the most part using these folders that we've created, and we've kind of moved mail into them manually and so forth. Now, the reason why we did that is so that later on, if we needed to find a particular email message, we could probably look for a folder that had something to do with the type of message that we're looking for, and go there and kind of search through it. So just depending on how you've set up your whole hierarchy of folders, really will kind of dictate how successful and how quickly you can find your email later on. Now, think about this now. What if you get an email message from somebody, and let's just say it belongs in, let's say, the business folder, okay? But at the same time, the email has to do with something about the company. Maybe it's a finance issue, or maybe it's a sales issue, all right? And what you want to do is you want to not only be able to organize, your messages into respective folders, general folders, but at the same time, you want to be able to also bring up all the emails that are maybe part of some sort of a category that you set up. So like I said, if you were concerned with like finance issues, so you get different emails that have to do with finance, all right, or with sales, whatever happens to be, we could actually set up a category for that. So not only can we put the email into its own folder, but we can also then assign it a particular category that almost acts as another folder, right? But it isn't. And later on, we can actually tell it, okay, I want to bring up all the emails that have to do with the finance category, or with the sales category, or with the customer service category, all right? So we use what is called categories in this type of situation. So let's say, for instance, all right, I'm going to go over to my project ones here, and I'm going to just pick on this email right here. And let's just say that not only does this email belong with the project one for whatever reason, all right, but it also deals with with finance in some way, shape, or form. So I want to set this up with that category, with that finance category, all right? So how am I going to do that? Well, first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the categorize button here. This is in the home tab, all right? We click onto that. Now, as you can see, I've already got a few categories in here already, but what I want to do is get in here and actually create a specific category that I can apply to this particular email. So I'm going to go down to where it says all categories. That brings up my master list here, and there they all are. I'm going to click on a new, and I'm going to type in finance. All right, so finance issues. All right, something like that. And I'll pick a color. I'll go with green. All right, there we go. Hit OK, and there's my finance issues. All right, and while I'm at it, I'm also going to go back in here. I'll create another one, so I'll hit new again, and I'll say this is maybe sales and marketing. All right, and that one, we'll say that's going to be maybe this red. All right, hit OK on that. So there's that one, and then I'll do one more, and we'll call this one maybe the budget project, where we've got something going on like that. All right, so, and then we'll go back for the color, and we'll go with, let's say, the orange on that one. So we got those three. Now, because I'm putting those together while I'm on an email, it's also assuming that I want to apply all three of these categories to that email. I can do that, but it wouldn't make any sense for what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to kind of take them all off there. Hit OK, and there we go. So now I want to go ahead and I want to apply the category. So I go to this one, I do a right click on it, all right. I go to my categorize, all right. All right, so what I want to do now is apply the budget to that one, all right. So I'm going to click onto that, and as you can see, it puts that one in there. Now, an email can have more than one category if you want it to be, because maybe it has to do with the budget, and we can go back into categorize again and say, okay, it also has to do with sales and marketing, and now you get the two in there, okay? Then I'll go over here maybe to personal, all right, and I'll take this one here, it's garbage, but we'll just pretend like it's something there. And we'll go to categorize. We'll tell that's sales and marketing, right? And then we can go to our inbox, and maybe we'll take a few here. So maybe we'll take this one, and we'll categorize that as finance, all right? So pretty neat. So even though most of them are in their own respective folders, we also have another categorical system for them to be also brought up in. So I can either go in and, if I didn't have the categories and I was trying to find all the emails that had to do with, finance or marketing or whatever, it'd be pretty hard to do it by using my traditional folders. But because I set up these categories, I can bring them up all in one nice little clump. Now, the way I would do that, all right, pretty easy way would be to go back into my filter email up here. So this would be in the Home tab. You click on the filter, all right, and there's the categorized. And we can either bring up specific ones by just choosing one of these, or I can just say any category. So I click on any category, there they are. And there I would get a listing of everything that's been categorized. Now, I'll close that up. I'll go back into the filter, and this time I'll go to the category and say, I just want to see the ones that had to do with sales and marketing, right? So I click on that, and it brings up all those. So it's a slick system. I had some students a while back that had a really bad situation where they were in charge of, I guess triaging all kinds of emails, and it wasn't enough to just put the emails into specific folders. I mean, they had to do that, but they also had the situation where each of those emails, a lot of them, were falling into other categories as well. And it's like, well, what do you do? And what they were doing is they were actually duplicating the emails and putting, maybe one email into 3 different folders because it had to do with those 3 different areas. And that just got to be a little too much. So I introduced them to this category feature. And this just really fixed it. It really made it good. And this is the best thing that they came by. They told me. All right. So, and then if we want to go back to everything, we just go back and close the search, and now we're back to here. And if for some reason you want to get rid of a category that an email has, you can actually click onto it, just like that. Go back to categorize, just like that, and you'll see right now how the finance issues is the one that's kind of pushed in there. It has like a little gray going around it. You point to that and click it again, turns it off. Go back in there again and say, well, what it was really supposed to be, it was supposed to be under budget. So you do that, and there you go. So pretty easy to apply them, unapply them, whatever. Now another area what we're going to look at here is something called search folders. And search folders are actual folders that populate automatically based on some sort of criteria being met. So instead of you creating the folder and then dragging your emails into that folder, you're going to create the folder, put some sort of criteria on it, and the criteria could be something like email from my boss. So you'd have let's say your boss's email address as the criteria, and then any email that happens to be from your boss will automatically be placed into this folder. It'll still be in the inbox, but it's also going to be in that particular folder, that search folder. You can also have another search folder that will focus on a specific category of email, like we were just talking about, or all your categories, right? So you got that. You can have a search folder that has certain emails in it where the content, of the email has certain words or phrases. That could also be one as well. So let's take a look at how this works. So let me roll these up so we got a little bit more room here. Okay. So down towards the bottom here, you'll see this thing are called search folders. Now, if you click onto it on that little latch there, it'll have a few already made in here. So There's one in here for voicemail. So a lot of this stuff has really nothing to do with, at least what I use it for. But they've got some pre-made ones in there. So I'm going to sit here, I'm going to say, you know what, I don't really use this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. We'll right click on it, delete the folder, hit yes, right click it, delete the folder, hit yes, and do the same thing with that with the voicemail. And delete the folder. Okay. And by the way, too, if you have a search folder, it's populated with email, and then later on you delete that folder, you don't need it anymore, it does not delete the email in the system. In other words, it just deletes the search folder. It's still going to be in your inbox or wherever it's at. Okay? All right, so to create this search folder, just do a right click on where it says search folder, click on a new search folder, and you've got a number of already preset ones. So in here we've got one for unread mail. So you can actually click onto that, hit OK, all right, and there's your unread mail. So even though we have that unread deal up here, maybe, maybe you're using, if we went into the view there, if we were using that, get back up here, let me just show real quick here. If we were using that focused in box, then that's going to flip this over to being focused in other, and then you won't have that unread button that you can click onto. So this might be something that you'd like to have in there. So that way you can just click down there and it'll show you all your unread mail. So that's pretty cool. Now we'll do another one. We'll do a right click, and then we'll hit the new search folder. Now a little bit further down we have the categorized mail, so click onto that. And we can either just say any category and leave it like that, so I'll just do that for now. Hit OK, there it is, and there will be all of our categorized mail that we have. Pretty neat. Now I can go back in there, right click it there and go to customize this folder, and I can go back in and redo the setting on it, so where instead of just being categorized mail, all of it, I can hit criteria here and just say I just want just the budget ones for whatever reason, right? Hit OK, and now that will just, if I'll click away from it, go back to it again, a little refresh, then you got that in there. Oh, and what happened there? Okay, so anyway, so there's your budget meetings there, so that worked out pretty good. Now I can do another one. Let's go back to our mail here. Now let's say that I want to have a search folder that anything that I get from, let's say, Petco, okay? For whatever reason, I want to keep track of my Petco mail in a search folder. It'll still end up being out here, but also it'll be, in the folder. So how do I do that? We'll just do a right click on the search folder, and then we'll say new search folder, and then we'll say on here, mail from and to specific people, or just mail from specific people. It really doesn't matter. We'll just do that one there. And then what we do is we hit choose, all right? And then we pick who we need. Now the only problem with this is that this is only going to be the listing for my people within my global address book, meaning within my organization. So I'm not going to be able to do that one. So what I'll do instead is I'm just going to go down a little bit further here, and I'm going to create a custom one here. So I'm just going to click onto that, hit choose. I'm going to call this one Petco, just like that. And then I'll go to my criteria, and from here I can just say, hey, who is it from? I don't even have to know the full email address. I can just type in Petco, okay? I'd probably figure it's probably petco.com, something like that. So anything that comes in, it doesn't matter who it is, but whoever it is from petco.com, it'll go into that folder as well. So I do that. Okay, then we go ahead and hit OK, and then hit OK, and now there's all of our Petco. Pretty cool. Now we'll do one more, and that is, let's say I want to do a search folder for a certain content that I have, okay? So I want to go ahead, or in an email. So we'll do a right click, new search folder, and again, I'm going to just go down to here, create a custom one, click onto that, hit choose, all right? And I'll call this one anything that has, let's say, Microsoft Excel in, well, here, I'll just call it, I'm calling it Microsoft Excel. I'll go to criteria, right? And I'll search for words, and this is going to be Microsoft Excel. And this is going to be not only in the subject line, but also search for the body as well, or search within the body. And that's it. Doesn't matter who it's from, as long as that phrase is somewhere in the body. Once I've done that, I hit OK. And I could call this anything I want. I just called it the same thing. I could just call it Excel, but I want Microsoft Excel, and that's why I set the criteria to be that. All right. Hit OK. Hit OK. And eventually, it'll come up with quite a bit. All right, so not bad. And then what I can do is I can take any of these search folders and I can actually put them into the favorites. So if I took, let's say, the Microsoft Excel one here, I just drag it up to here, put it whatever position, let go, and there it is. So I've got, I don't have to, scroll through all the search folders to see if there's anything that I need to see. I can see it right up here. And when it has that blue number in it, I know that that's how many new ones are in there. So it's a great little way of knowing if you've got stuff to look at or not. So I click onto there it is. All right, so hopefully this all really works out for you. I think there's a lot of good tools here that you can start using. I appreciate you watching the video. Take care.